I'm going to call the special meeting for Tuesday, March 14th to order. We'll start with the acknowledgements of treaties of peace and friendship. We'd like to begin by acknowledging that the land on which we gather is traditional, unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq peoples. This territory is covered by the treaties of peace and friendship, which Wolastoqiyik, Mi'kmaq, and Passamaquoddy peoples first signed with the British Crown in 1726. The treaties did not deal with surrender of lands and resources, but in fact recognized Mi'kmaq and Wolastoqiyik title and established the rules for what was to be an ongoing relationship between nations. Thank you, Lawlen. Next is the reaffirmation of the oath of office. We do hereby accept the office of council and will diligently, faithfully, and impartially discharge to the best of our ability the duties of the office as may be imposed upon us by law. Thank you. Next is the adoption of the agenda. Can we get a mover to adopt the agenda?
M 2023-03, 14-50, that the agenda be adopted as presented.
We got a seconder?
I'll second it.
On the question, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Conflict of interest, just just mentioned to the clerk, or acknowledged to the clerk. Next to business, 4.1, excuse me, is the motion CAO letter of offer. You gonna get a motion for that, please?
M 2023-03, 14-51, that the following resolution be adopted. The resolution is, whereas council directed the hire of the CAO during a closed section of council, whereas council provided further instruction by email and legal provided a letter of offer based on further instruction, be it resolved that council approved the letter of offer with the agreed upon changes and authorized municipal offer to sign and seal the letter. Be it further resolved to forward the letter of offer prepared by legal to Mr. Lee for the review and approval.
Can I get a seconder?
I'll second it.
On the question?
Yep, I have something to say on that one. Council met Thursday night for over an hour to discuss the terms and details of the contract for the CAO. So after a bunch of phone calls, emails over the weekend, that agreement was changed. I don't think in a legal manner. There was no meeting of council to make those changes. So I guess I just want people to know that it's business as usual in Beldoon.
Anyone else?
I'd like to say that I made no phone calls and I rethought everything that was discussed the other evening, and I decided to come forward with those changes, believing that the changes that I had requested were proper ones in my mind, that the CAO should be treated as an employee as opposed to a contract worker, and that any other position is normally a 3-month probation period as opposed to a 6-month. I did research it, and yes, the average probation period is 3 months.
The standard probationary period in New Brunswick for a senior administrative position is 6 months.
Councillor Robinson, Councillor Guterra-McDonald has the floor.
I said I just researched it, and it was, the average is 3 months. Where this position was held by this individual in the past, 6-month probation is not necessary.
Anyone else?
I'm just wondering why, after the discussion was had, because that was a specific discussion that we had and agreed upon. In fact, it was you that had said 3 months. And then the other thing was, we paid for training. We paid for somebody to come up here specifically to train us in this type of thing. And one of the things he trained us on and told us was that each council should be open to hiring the CAO that they feel is best qualified and experienced in what their strategic plan is. which is why a lot of times CAOs are hired on a contract basis to give the next council an opportunity to come in, and once they know what their vision is, to be able to hire someone with the expertise to be able to make that plan happen, which again was something that was brought up and it was agreed upon at the meeting. It almost appears to me that the discussions that council had were brought back to Mr. Lee and that he was unsatisfied with what council had agreed upon, and then council members started emailing back and forth, and boom, boom, boom. Even when there was questions answered, I specifically even asked, has anybody considered or bringing Mr. Lee in and having a sit down with council and discussing the terms of his contract? Couldn't even, crickets chirping, nobody would even respond to that. I asked, why would we be having a meeting about a letter before the letter was even finalized with legal and council? No response to that. Like, it seems like everything is just kind of being pushed forward. And it just appears, I agree, it just appears that, the more things change, the more they stay the same. And it's unfortunate for those of us that are, living and residing here and hoping for a better place, but that's, I guess, the way it is.
Deputy Mayor Burke, did you have something?
Yeah. Well, the one thing about it is democracy is a great thing. We all get the advantage or the privilege to be able to express our views. At the end of the day, it's never going to be everyone agrees with everyone on every single item. Those things happen. However, when the time comes to vote, it's based on the majority vote, and at the end of the day, that's where we're at. So for me, I have been part of many votes that have been, say, voted down, that type of thing. I can assure you, not one word did I ever say or argue with any member of council over it. And with that said, because we disagree does not mean that someone else is right and someone else is wrong. It means that we have a difference of opinion, and that difference of opinion needs to be respected by the majority of council. And once the vote is done, that should be it.
Councilor Carmichael, did you have anything?
Yeah, I just, this was a difficult process, and we worked hard together to get it done. I just feel that he will do an amazing job doing this. Not everybody's going to agree, but like once the vote of council is decided, the vote, it should move on, and the past is the past, and now we have to go forward.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you've changed your mind on the audit that you wanted, considering that Mr. Lee was the project coordinator and manager for that project. So I'm wondering if your opinion on that has changed, being as you're wanting to hire him back. So you must have think he did an awesome job.
I'm gonna ask the mayor if he's allowing the question, because at the end of the day,
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
speaking out of turn.
We're not here, we're not here to debate that. So,
Good save.
on to
Yeah.
the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passed.
M 2023-0414-52, that the meeting is adjourned at 7:08.
Can I get a seconder, please?
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passed. Meeting adjourned.